Excuse me, sir. He's gone. That would have been my guy. Excuse me. Would you ladies mind telling me about your signs?
Self-explanatory. Love our children, not guns. Too many people are worried about protecting gun rights and not protecting students.
And the NRA is too powerful and is dictating whether our children and people in our community are safe, and it just doesn't make sense.
Can you can't really see it.
Oh, okay. And it just doesn't make sense as to why gun manufacturers mean more than kids do or people do.
And is there any specific call of action that you would like to see?
I'd like assault weapons banned. They're weapons of mass destruction. There's not any reason that I can think of as to why a citizen needs to own it. It's a military gun. It's not for our everyday individuals, hunters, nor home protection.
And what would you define as an assault weapon?
Well, first of all, anything that would fire multiple rounds in a few seconds or a few moments. Certainly, people do have a right to guns, but just not. The Second Amendment doesn't mean every gun and every weapon. And so I think that for assault weapons that are mass killers, bump stocks, high capacity magazines, and those guns, it just makes no sense for average Americans to have those.
And then you would be proponent for the military and the police to still have these type of guns?
Certainly the military. I have to think about the police a little bit, but certainly military, but just not everyday citizens that can go out and purchase them.
And with the police, you say you have some concern for that. Is that based on the type of brutality that happens in the different black communities?
Absolutely. I mean, we just had the situation that happened in Sacramento. I think that, our police departments across the country need some serious education, and this is a policy and looking at their policing and community policing and stereotyping and, if we can get some of that done, then maybe we can think about it. But I really, I can support the military having them. Police departments, we have a lot of work that needs to be done before I would feel comfortable there.
What would you say to the people who would say that gun control laws in this country have been based in racism? Like in the 1600s, they had gun control laws for the American Indians where they couldn't have guns, and then in the 1800s the gun control laws were for the Africans so they couldn't have guns, and all the way up until the 1960s it was racist gun control laws where we had the Black Panthers storm the Senate or Capitol in California, and shortly after that you had Ronald Reagan. He passed a law that people couldn't carry guns in open carry anymore in that state. So that was the most recent racist gun control law I could think of. But what would you say to the people who say that these gun control laws have actually affected the African American communities in a negative way?
I could see where certainly over the history it may have done that, but what I'm talking about is not preventing people from having guns. It's preventing people from having certain kinds of guns. So African Americans, minorities, and others would also have the ability, as they do now, to have guns. I just think certain kinds of guns need to be outlawed.
So the CDC statistic is over 80% of mass shootings are done by handguns. Why is it that you are going after assault rifles instead of handguns?
Well, somewhere you've got to start somewhere, don't we? And I think that if we look at the latest ones that we've seen in the news, it has been the assault weapons. Me personally, I'm against guns, period. But I certainly do understand we have a Second Amendment and people are very passionate about it. But we need to start somewhere, and why not start there?
And then you're saying that the military having guns could be acceptable, maybe not the police. But from the year 1900 to the year 2000, there's been over 250 million people who were killed at the hands of their own government. What would you say to those people?
You know what? I mean, that's an interesting question. question, and I'd have to tell you that I haven't really thought about that particular aspect of it.
So my channel on YouTube is The Anarchist Post, and what I would like to represent is people operating through consent. I like to push the idea of equality. So whether you're black or white, male or female, police or citizen, military, everyone's equal. Your rights are equal.
Right.
And then we also like the idea of things being done through nonviolence and non-coercion, right? So when you make laws about something, it's always enforced through violence. Like you look at the police will enforce those laws through violence. So the gun laws are what caused in Waco 72 people, right? And that was a gun control law that they were enforcing. And then, but it's not just gun control laws. All laws end in violence. So you look at the war on drugs or the war on alcohol, prohibition of alcohol. It's all enforced in violence, and the state is based in violence. So if we want to end violence, we have to end the state. We can't.
See, I'm never going to agree with that one. Yeah.
So you believe that there should be sometimes
I
people's
believe in
consent
laws.
doesn't matter.
I believe in laws. I believe in enforcing laws. I believe that there certainly are situations where, unfortunately, governments have gone awry, including ours. But you're never going to get me to say that I believe in laws and I believe in the enforcement.
And at what point is it okay to violate the consent? All right.